Shalom, call halal Yahweh Bashin Shai Bashin Bakakadash. It's your brother Malcolm coming at you with another quick lesson. First and foremost, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Bashin Shai. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders who are my teachers. Salutations to all my fellow laborers who are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the confusion of faith brothers joined unto our ranks, the hopefully elect, the akwaf that are listening and learning. To you I say shalom. This is a video that was put up by Elder Barra of the Chicago camp. And it was just a quick clip of the Corey Holcomb show. And he had some Muslims on there, some Israelite brothers who know they're Israelites, all right? But it's clear that they don't practice it because they call themselves Muslims. You can even see by their haircuts with the straight lines and things in their hair, you know, and then not having of the beard. And they're going to go in on how they know that we're the Israelites and that, you know, and that the impostor Jews have stolen our heritage. But the crazy thing is, though, is that they're cleaving onto Islam. And Islam is not our heritage either. As a matter of fact, the Muslims linked up with the impostor Talmudic following impostor Jewish people, the Amalekites. That's where you get that derogatory term kite from. The Amalekites, they hooked up with Amalek, and they actually helped the enslavement of the tribe of Judah, of the southern kingdom, of the tribe of Levi, Benjamin, and Judah. All right, but they're cleaving on to a religion that actually enslaved us, the same as Negroes are clinging on to plantation Christianity. They're no different from the things that they're complaining about. That being the problem. So the minute's only, I mean, it's only like a minute and 25 seconds long. So we're going to play the video. And then I'm going to replay it. And then I'm going to just, you know, bring out some scriptures after they say their piece. After they actually put their foot in their mouths, man. And I sat in front of the year that I woke up to the truth. A friend of mine who's very close to Minister Farrakhan. And this was a very good friend of mine. I still consider him a friend. He was a good brother all the time. We were coming up, you know. But it's no, and we've had debates. And I mean, I've destroyed him in debates, you know. And, you know, just blown him away with information. But he just refuses to let go of the Islam thing, man. And it's like Apostle Tahar said, man. The guys that go the Islam route, man, there's no moving them, man. Because I have another friend. Matter of fact, another good friend of mine, a whole ton of them out of this crew. You know, we all came up together. All them guys became Muslims, man. A lot of them. All right, I won't say all of them because some of them are still. One of them told me he's a Baptist. He ain't gonna die a Baptist. But a majority of them became Muslim. All right, and cops. So they're Muslim cops and a lot of them in fraternities. They're Q-Dogs and, you know, the Omegas. That was kind of the scene that I was a part of, you know. But yeah, but there's no swaying these guys. And you're a Muslim on one side, but you're a Greek on another side, and then you're and all cops are basically low-level Masons, directly or indirectly. You know, so it's just a bunch of madness, man. You know, and this is why Jake is so confused. But yet their minister, who I heard him about a little over 11 years ago around that time, sat right in front of him, and I heard him say that we were the Jews, that the Negroes in America were the Jews anyway. And I looked over at my buddy who just kept looking straight ahead. He didn't want to acknowledge, you know, I gave him that look, that I told you so look. And but he just kept looking straight ahead. But nevertheless, he continued with his Muslim thing, and I pursued after the elders and you know, and his truth. All right, that's what I did. I pursued the truth, and he pursued a partial truth. All right, and partial truth is not enough, man. So without any further ado, let's let this video play.
Now, after listening to the minister speak on Sunday, it's called the Torah.
The Talmud.
The Talmud.
The Talmud. The Torah is the one that they're supposed to read, which is that's the early books of the Bible.
Right.
That's what Moses revealed. Okay, that's what you're supposed to read as far as being a Jew. But they came up with their own book, and they stepped on it. in street terminology.
And what's the name of this book again?
That's called the Talmud.
Talmud,
Talmud, which is what the Jewish scholars came up with to pretty much guide the world of Judaism and also guide everybody on how to.
Okay, let's interject. I thought I could let it play, but I can't. My spirit is too restless. First of all, he said that you're supposed to read as a Jew, which he admits he's a Jew, but yet he's reading the book of the Quran. And then the imposter Jewish people who follow the Talmud, they didn't come up with that book. That was a Babylonian book that went back to the so-called Africans, to those Hamites that were in Babylon. That was their book. All right? And it is full of all kind of crazy blasphemies, and it does say a lot of derogatory things toward Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And that's how you know that Judeo-Christian is just a false movement to control over, and mainly over Israel, because the Jews and Christianity are in complete opposition to each other as far as what they teach. So why is it that, false pastors, that plantation colonial Christianity, which is pushed by people like Joel Osteen, John Hagee, and that whole sort of thing, why are there such diehard supporters of the land of Israel and Judaism when Judaism insults and attacks the Lord Yahushua, talking about him being crucified upside down in feces and burning in hell and all that kind of mess, saying that it's okay to have sex with small children if they're under a year old, and all kind of just madness, man, is in that book. Just pick one up and read it. And this is what they follow, and this is what these Edomite Christians in America are supporting.
To operate around people who are not Jews, who are black, who are women, and it says a bunch of stuff about Jesus, including him burning upside down in feces.
Yeah. Okay, now let's look at that. He said, who are black. The three of them are wearing black coats. One a leather coat, and the other two one a sports jacket, and one looks like a windbreaker of some type. But when you look at their skin, they're brown. Their skin is not black. So that's another thing. This black culture, man, and I get so tired of brown people referring to themselves as black, because you're referring to the name that the oppressor put upon you. All right? You're not black. You're brown. There's no black people on the planet. There's no one whose skin matches their coats. And there's no one's skin who's white like his bow tie. Those are social constructs which were created by Esau Edom. He prescribed those names. He prescribed the brown man to be black, and he prescribed his red self to be white. Okay? And who's singing this new song, this truth? The Israelites. Okay? Let's let this finish so we can bring these scriptures out.
Oh yeah, brother. So that right there. Yes. So the Jews, just to be very clear, the Hebrew Israelites or the Jews happen to be us, black people. That is what we are. But the people who orchestrated this book, came up with it, and who make the world believe that they are the chosen people, happen to be Ashkenazi, Khazarian, Caucasian, Jewish people. These are white people who use the name of Judaism to shield their evil. So not all of them, but there's very specific few who run the world. These happen to be the international bankers, the ones who run the music industry, the ones who run the film industry, Hollywood, etc., etc., etc.
And you know what? And who's been bringing that out? The Hebrew Israelites. This is how you know that these Muslims watch our videos, because they weren't talking about this stuff. They started talking about this stuff when we started talking about this stuff.
It's not Judaism. It is wicked individuals using the name of Judaism or calling themselves Jews, which happens to be us, to shield their wicked practices.
Now, he did speak a level of truth, I have to say. All right? So let's go in and let's hit the scriptures, man. And so first thing, the truth came from the men of the Lord. All right? This is 1 Corinthians 4:9, it says, "For I think that power hath set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were appointed to death, for we are made a spectacle unto the world and to the angels of men." So who's out there on the highways and byways being made a spectacle to men? The Hebrew Israelites. And who's the foremost front leader of that? The men of GMS. Point blank period, like it or not, that's what it is. The men of GMS and our brothers in arms who who acknowledge the elders and teach the same likewise doctrine. All right? And I mean, and when I say brothers at arms, I'm talking about brothers at arms that's armed with the Bible, with this truth. All right? Who the Lord blessed them to have the understanding so that they can learn, that they can teach. Okay? And we're supposed to go to the Bible, not the Quran, nor the Talmud. This is Malachi 3:16. All right? It says, then they feared Yahweh, spake often to one another, and Yahweh and Yahweh hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him, them that fear Yahweh and thought upon his name. So the name of the Lord, all right, of the Most High Power is Yahweh, not Allah. Allah is a Hebrew word which means power. All right, and Yahweh is the ultimate power. Allah is a title. There's no difference from saying God, and God is a title. You can have earthly gods. Okay? This is Isaiah 34:16. It says, seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail. None of the prophecies. You're not finding prophecies in the Talmud or the Quran. The prophecies are found in the Bible. That's why Farrakhan's always reading from the Bible. And he doesn't have a thorough understanding. Even though you can watch all our videos all day, minister, and your counsel, you're still never going to figure this out. And you won't be able to tell the truth anyway, because if you told the truth, you'd have to shut your doors, grow your beard, and tell all your men that they're not Muslims and that they have to go listen and follow the Hebrew Israelites. Because if you woke up today and acknowledged that you were his Hebrew Israelite, Farrakhan, you'd have to stand on the other side of the line. You wouldn't even be able to stand with us. You'd have to stand there as a cadet and learn and prove yourself. All right? That's what you'd have to do. And you don't have the discipline to do that. All right? And you don't have the humbleness to do that. You wouldn't humble down like that. Because you got fame on this side. You got fame, power, and wealth on this side teaching a false doctrine. Point blank, period. You know, and it's not, and I'm not insulting you. I'm just telling you the truth, man. All right. It says once again, Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. And what gathered the Israelites from around the corner of the earth, where this truth is being spread, where men like this that are Muslim even know that they're Hebrew Israelites. All right, the men of the Lord, the apostles, the men of GMS and other Israelite camps. All right, because even IUIC is teaching that we're Israel. ISUPK, GOCC. All right, they go off on a bunch of things that I don't agree with, that can't be backed up by scripture, but yet they still go out and they still push Israel. So they're steps ahead of these guys that are here on the screen, man. And these guys that came up with me. Okay. Next and last scripture. This is Psalms 40:3. And he hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our power. Many shall see it and fear and shall trust in Yahweh, not Allah. So, so you brothers who are part of the Nation of Islam, you need to wake up, man. That is not the way. It is a false teaching. You can't mix truth with lies, man, and that's what Farrakhan is doing. All right, and you men that are following him, man, I believe that's why they offed Malcolm X, because Malcolm X was starting to come against that. So with that, I hope this was an edifying lesson, and I'm gonna give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, all my fellow laborers who do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To you I say shalom and wa abba babal.